Hi guys, I'm at one of my clients' place at the moment, and yeah, we just came back from dinner, um, and I'll just update you guys on my past week. So essentially, just getting back into the hang of things, because yeah, because since I was doing this sales job last week, I didn't really do that much work for my other clients, and yeah, one of my clients, one of the work that I have to do for my clients is based on .NET, so a web application on .NET, and I've done C# before, but I haven't really touched on .NET that much, so there's a lot of learning for me to do, a lot of YouTube tutorials on ×2 speed. That's one technique you guys can use if you're constantly learning new topics, and if you wanna compress the amount of time to learn new things, then you set the settings on your YouTube on the YouTube videos at ×2 speed, so you can consume twice as much information in half the time. Yeah, so I have to learn .NET, and yeah, there's also other stacks that I have to learn from my other clients as well. Now, on last Sunday, I caught up with a couple of friends from uni, and we were thinking of, say, starting another business, but we sort of need funding for that, so we were deciding to split the bootstrapping cost 4 ways, because there's 4 of us that want to start it. So 4 of us will split the cost and fund the project with our own money. And then once we have a prototype, and once say we might get it tried out in like we might get a potential client or customer to try out the product, to eventually customer finance that product, and after that we'll probably end up trying to get investors on board as well. But yeah, that's still in the plans. So anyways, on the Sunday, when me and my friend were going back home from the city, from our catch up, or from my meetup, yeah, we're talking about things, and we're talking about how we're going to do things, how we're going to approach things. And we were saying, well, my friend was saying that, we'll have to make the product really perfect, right? Because, to impress the clients and all that. But when you're starting out from scratch and when you're starting new, I told him that you sort of need to get the product out straight away, because by the time, say, if you wait for it to be perfect, right? There's a saying called paralysis of analysis, right? So if you wait until the product is perfect, then somebody might beat you to deploying or releasing their own product, because if you have an idea, most likely someone else around the world already has that same idea, right? So you have to get that product out first, and when you get it out there first and it's not perfect, you'll get instant feedback, and you'll get feedback from your clients or from the market, right? Because that's what you want. You want to make a minimum viable product, and you want to get instant feedback so that you can pivot, or you can adjust and make changes, and perfect that product as it goes, instead of trying to make it perfect at the start and trying to make the perfect wrong product, right? So you're trying to perfect it, but then you're going into the wrong direction, and you're making essentially the wrong product. So yeah, we're essentially talking about how we need to do this, we need to make a website, we need to learn how to do these specific things, And then I was saying that you don't need to learn all of that, and you don't need to make a website. You don't need to make an app, or you don't need to do all the fancy things. Just figure out what you need and what's the main pain point, and solve that first, and then get feedback, and then eventually you'll add other things, so other features on demand, right? Because you'll add them as needed, because it's kind of like you have to ask the question why, right? And when you ask the question why, you're approaching the problem from a top down approach instead of a bottom up approach. And what I mean by that is, from the top down approach, you're essentially going from the mindset of, I have this problem. Now, what do I need to do, or what do I need to learn to be able to solve this problem, right? And then you basically go down the decision tree. I need to learn this. Like, I need to say, for example, I need to develop a website, right, for a client. Now, do I need to focus on SEO? Do I need to focus on, the graphical, the user interface, right? So if it's SEO, you might go with .NET, right? Or if it's, say, if you want some dynamic user interface, you might go with something like Angular, or Angular, or React, or something like that, right? But that's the thing, you have to ask for the top down approach, right? Instead of the bottom up, where you say, I'm gonna learn React, or I'm gonna learn JavaScript, or I'm gonna learn PHP, or I'm gonna learn C#. But the thing is, why are you learning those tools for, right? If you're not going to use it, right? There's no, like, for example, in school, they teach you different tools, right? Sometimes, though, you have to learn the different tools individually without knowing the reason why, because you don't have the broader context to understand the reason why, right? Like, for example, when you're still in high school, or say when you're still in primary school, right? You're learning your ABCs, you're learning how to spell, you're learning how to write, but you don't necessarily know the reason why you're learning those concepts. Because for you to understand why you're learning those concepts, you have to understand holistically. You need to understand how to spell, read, write first, before you understand, this is the reason why I had to learn, because to learn how to read and write, I had to learn how to read and write, right? But before you learned how to read and write, you didn't know why you needed to learn how to read and write, right? So, but as you get older, because you have more experience and context, then you're able to say, from a bird's eye view, I know why I should learn these concepts. But sometimes it's kind of like the chicken and egg problem. Like, you have to know this concept first before you know that concept, before you're able to fully develop your understanding of the first concept, right? So that's, for example, like programming. You have to learn the basics of, say, object-oriented programming before you can actually use, or that's a bad example. Like with programming, some concepts, you just have to learn it first before understanding why you need it. And then once you learn these concepts, and then you sort of learn the broader aspect of these concepts and how they would be applied in the real world, then you sort of understand why you learned those basic concepts, and it sort of reinforces those basic concepts, and then it becomes a cycle. But you have to go back and forth from the basics to the more advanced topics, back to the basics. But all in all, it just comes down to understanding the reasons why. So it's you learn faster if you understand the reasons why you're learning something or you're doing something, because the reason why basically dictates your direction that you're going to take. If you're learning things individually without having a direction, then you're more likely to forget what you learned, because you're essentially learning directionless, right? But if you have so an example, right? If I told you, or if someone told you to go straight, right? Just go straight and keep walking straight. Once someone puts a chair in front of you, right, you're going to stop, right? Because someone instructed you to go straight. But if someone told you, oh, I want you to get to this position from point A to point B, right? If someone puts an obstacle or a chair in front of you, you're just going to go around it, because then explicit instruction wasn't go straight, it was get to this point. So any obstacle in your way, you're going to find out a way around it. That's the same thing with say, if someone tells you, oh, you have to learn this, without telling the reason why, you're going to learn those concepts, but once a roadblock appears in front of you, it's going to stop you in your tracks. Now, if you have a goal and a reason why, and then naturally you're going to figure out, oh, I have to learn these concepts because I need to get to my goal, which is your reason why. But then if an obstacle stands in your way, then you can adjust, you can pivot around that obstacle, figure out a way to adjust. Anyways, that's my well, yeah. Anyways, that's my brain fart for today. It's just a bunch of things I was thinking about, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time.